A Yorkie Poo, also referred to as Yorkie Doodle or a Yo-Yapu, is not a purebred. It's a 50-50 cross in between the Yorkshire Terrier and a small poodle. Due to the cross breeding, it's tough to predict the precise look of the small puppies. Some pups will get the Yorkshire look, while others may look more like the poodle. This means that not every Yorkie Poo will look or act the same. Usually, a Yorkie Poo puppy is most likely to set you back anywhere from $400 to as high as $1,000. The costs will certainly depend upon its parents' history, family, quality, colors, age, dog breeder, geographical location as well as additions with the fostering. A dog breeder with documents will always cost more than a backyard breeder with little documentation. On online marketplaces, you might see the terms F1, F2, or F3. F1 refers to half Yorkie and half Poodle, whereas an F2 refers to an F1 Yorkie Poo reproduced with an F1 Yorkie Poo. Finally, an F3 describes an F2 Yorkie Poo reproduced with an F2 Yorkie Poo. The higher the number, the more you're likely to pay. How much will the Yorkie Poo cost? One online animal classified site has a number of Yorkie Poo listings, with prices varying anywhere from as low as $350 to as high as $850. On another pet dog niche website, the costs range from $500 to $1,500. What is going to be included in the fostering cost? A reputable dog breeder should always, at least, include the registration documentation, updated inoculations, a health and wellness check, and a vet checkup from a registered veterinarian. If the dog is being delivered, your breeder should take into account the traveling dog crate also. What are the additional costs? If the pet dog needs to be delivered using an airline company or by ground, plan on spending an extra $200 to $300. Just like any pet, be sure to factor in the reoccurring expenses such as food, accessories, veterinarian checks, brushing, obedience courses, canine resting, and medicine. Even if your dog is 100% healthy and balanced, it can still cost you well over $600 a year or much more if the pet were to come down with a disease. Tips to know. A Yorkie Poo generally is between 6 to 9 inches high and weighs around 4 to 14 pounds, depending on its genes. The average lifetime, if healthy and balanced, is close to 12 to 15 years. Because of being a reasonably brand new breed, however, there is little data in regards to their health and wellness background. The fur can be a white, black, gray, silver, or a mix of these colors, mostly relying on genetics, but as they age, their fur slowly ends up being gray. Their tail can stand high or low, and once again, depending on its parents, the size and head will differ in dimension, similar to that of either the Poodle or Yorkshire Terrier. This breed is not recognized by the AKC because it is deemed a hybrid. To put it nicely, it's an overpriced pooch. It is recognized as a breed by the American Canine Hybrid Club, Designer Dog Kennel Club, International Working Dog Registry, and the Designer Breed Registry. It's known as a great watchdog and will often tend to bark at any type of unidentified noise. Nevertheless, they can be calmed down with training at a smaller age. As a result of their small dimensions, you should carefully check your dog as it plays with children. The very same can be said about this dog and larger pets, as the Yorkie Poo has a tendency to overestimate their size, testing various other dogs, regardless of how intimidating they might be. Even though they are known as hypoallergenic, you should still brush their hair to keep it free of any tangles and particles. Although the dog is smaller than average, they still require enough time to play outdoors. Suitable for an apartment, be warned that they can bark regularly if they, once again, aren't educated effectively. As for its character, the Yorkie Poo is known to be proud, full of power, boldness, and knowledge. Also, gentle, loving as well as caring, they enjoy being around its proprietor at all times. Common health issues that might arise consist of cataracts, dry eye, keratitis, dynamic retinal atrophy, and endocarditis. How can I save cash? Why invest close to $1,000 when you can invest less than $150 at a neighborhood shelter? Before thinking about a breeder dog, consider a neighborhood rescue and/or sanctuary to see if you can locate a dog that closely resembles this breed. It's a wonderful way to support a neighborhood cause and also assist a dog genuinely in need. Additional information about this breed. The Yorkie Poo likes people as well as having fun, not always in this order. They will certainly delight their family and are pretty much always going to perform tricks or show off for any new person to enter your house. Their self-confidence keeps them from being excessively snappy or hostile. They are happy in their own skin. The Yorkie Poo can be an exceptional companion for any individual searching for a tiny, confident pet dog with enough energy as well as greater love. Like the majority of the poodle crossbreeds, the Yorkie Poo was initially created to be a companion pet dog that can live with allergy sufferers. The objective was a lap dog that did not have the diseases of either the Yorkshire Terrier or the Poodle, both of whom have actually struggled with health issues related to bad breeding or overbreeding. Both breeds are smart though, and so is the Yorkie Poo. Both breeds will enjoy performance competitions, such as obedience or agility, and so does the Yorkie Poo. The Yorkie is much more independent than the Poodle, so Yorkie Poo's self-reliance depends on the characters of the specific parents, the Poodle parents specifically. Yorkies do not always need to be on your lap, whereas toy and also mini poodles are almost barnacles. With the Yorkie Poo, everything depends, once more, on the parents and their characteristics. The Yorkie Poo has a low dander, low shedding coat, as well as the tiny size of a toy breed. He is happy in various kinds of homes and can make for a great companion for a senior person. With their mild and caring personality, the Yorkie Poos have actually shown that they can be successful therapy dogs. Sadly, some dogs that weigh less than 10 pounds aren't all that aware of their physical size and have actually been known to push themselves at bigger dogs, and the Yorkie Poo is no exception. To protect your Yorkie Poo from himself, introduce them to big dogs under close supervision, before they engage on their own, to avoid possibly tragic consequences. Dog parks meant for all sizes of pets are not fit for dogs weighing less than 10 pounds as it's all too easy for them to be seen as prey, and for them to act aggressively towards a bigger pet. The Yorkie Poo does pretty well at training and is normally a fast learner. They can be stubborn, however, this characteristic often tends to rear its hideous head if training is harsh or ends up being repetitive to the point of boredom. You should keep their lessons fun and also interesting, and all must go as quickly as possible. Regular positive reinforcement is the only way to train a Yorkie Poo, specifically because rough corrections can seriously hurt such a tiny dog. Even if injuries aren't a big concern, negative reinforcement does not work too well with this pet dog since they'll just shut down. The Yorkie Poo takes pleasure in barking just a little more than you'd probably want and is typically great as a guard dog. They'll alert you when someone comes at the door or when they see anything suspicious, and the chances are good that he's got a different interpretation of suspicious than you do. Some Yorkie Poos can be educated to just bark 1 or 2 times, yet most will not. There's a difference between intentional breeding of meticulously chosen Yorkshire Terriers and Poodles against a Poodle mix that's called a Yorkie Poo due to the fact that no one has any clue about the history of the dog. When the mix works as planned, you will get the intelligence and spirit of the Poodle and the vibrant Terrier elements of the Yorkie. Obviously, when the mix does not work as you'd expect, you can get a passive, urinating fear biter. But that can happen with any type of mixed breed, as well as in any purebred with bad genetics. Highlights. The Yorkie Poo is a designer dog and is the outcome of Yorkshire Terrier to toy or mini poodle breedings. There's been a rise in multi-generational breeding, Yorkie Poo to Yorkie Poo, as well as also in Yorkie Poo to Poodle or Yorkie Poo to Yorkshire Terrier breeding, but several litters are first generation, the result of reproducing 2 purebred parents. A Yorkie Poo is energetic and active, as are both Poodles and Yorkies. They ask for everyday exercise and do well with a good walk or romp in the grass. Barking is a preferred pastime. Sometimes a Yorkie Poo can be educated to bark much less, however, you should expect to hear the noise whenever an individual comes at the door. They have no idea that their bark does not scare any normal person. They are a non or low shedder and can be exceptional companions for individuals with strong allergies. Daily brushing is required to keep their fine, smooth coat free of tangles or mats. Gentle and also loving, the Yorkie Poo can be an exceptional companion to older, much more considerate kids. Like many toy breeds, they are not recommended for families with extremely young kids. They are easy to train if you make use of positive reinforcement. They have a stubborn streak, so be ready for some occasional resistance. The Yorkie Poo can live extremely happily in an apartment or condo. They typically do pretty well with most of the other breeds of dogs and also other family pets. Being companion dogs, they might experience separation anxiety when left alone for longer periods of time. To get a healthy and balanced dog, never purchase a pup from a dog breeder that seems irresponsible, a puppy mill, or a pet shop. Search for a trustworthy dog breeder that tests their breeding pet dogs to ensure they're free of any genetic diseases that they may pass on to the young puppies, and that they have sound temperaments. The history of the breed. Like numerous designer breeds, the Yorkie Poo is rather a young crossbreed. They've been popular for around 10 years or so. They were initially created as a toy-sized pet dog that had a hypoallergenic coat and was without the congenital diseases that affected the parent breeds, the Yorkshire Terrier as well as the toy or mini poodle. The success of breeding the poodle with the Yorkshire Terrier has had pretty mixed results, similar to any other crossbreed, yet the appeal of the Yorkie Poo has actually grown considerably. Today, most Yorkie Poo litters are still the result of first-generation breeding. However, some dog breeders have actually focused on multi-generational crosses in an effort to see the Yorkie Poo make offspring that conform more consistently to the preferred attributes. There are no type groups or registries for the Yorkie Poo, yet initiatives have actually started to create a direction for all Yorkie Poo dog breeders. Its size. The Yorkie Poo varies from 7 to 15 inches in height and 3 to 14 pounds in weight. The size can vary between specimens, and the fully grown adult size is generally a representation of the size of poodle that was utilized for the crossbreeding. Its character. The Yorkie Poo is an energetic, affectionate, fun-loving pet dog that delights in the company of people. They are loving and faithful, real companion dogs that appreciate being a part of the family. They are very confident, thanks to their terrier heritage. However, usually they will also be calm and also less demanding than a lot of other small breeds. They are smart enough that, offered regular and positive training, they can be excellent companions. They have a tendency to be careful and also enjoy looking at the world from the warmth of their owner's lap. However, they also enjoy checking out new things on their own. Its personality is influenced by a variety of elements, consisting of genetics, training, and also socialization. Young puppies with wonderful personalities are very curious and also lively, going to come close to different people and be held by them. Pick the middle of the road pup, not the one that's battering his littermates or the one that's hiding in a corner. You should always try to see in person at least one of the parents, typically the mom is the one that's readily available, to guarantee that they have great personalities that you are comfortable with. Meeting other pups from the litter or various other close relatives of the parents is also very important for checking out what a pup will be like when they reach adulthood. Like every pet dog, the Yorkie Poo requires very early socialization and direct exposure to various people, sounds, and sights, as well as different experiences, even when they're young. Socializing will help to make sure that your Yorkie Poo pup matures to be a well-shaped pet. Registering them in a puppy kindergarten class is a fantastic way to start. Inviting people over constantly and taking the dogs to busy parks, shops that allow pet dogs, as well as on walks to meet next-door neighbors will also aid them to improve their social abilities. Food and feeding. Suggested day-to-day quantity, 1/4 to 1 mug of premium dry food a day, split between 2 dishes. Keep in mind, just how much your adult pet will usually depend on their size, age, general build, metabolic rate, and activity level. Each dog is unique, much like people, and they will not require the exact same amount of food. It practically goes without saying that a very energetic canine will usually eat more than a lazy bone dog. The quality of dog food you get also makes a big difference. The better the pet food, the more it will usually go towards nourishing your pet, and also the less of it you'll need to put into your canine's dish. You should keep your Yorkie Poo healthy by keeping track of their food and also feeding them 2 times a day as opposed to leaving food out at all times. If you're unsure whether you have an obese dog, try giving them the eye test and also the hands-on test. First off, you should look down at them. You ought to be able to see a waist. Then put your hands on their back, thumbs along the back, with the fingers spread out downward. You must be able to feel but not see their ribs without needing to push hard. If you cannot, they will need less food as well as more walks or general exercise.